Okay, then, guys, welcome back to the W number for another fire episode. Today, I'm going to get into the actual results, the story that you haven't heard yet about my crazy, terrible experience with prison medical, because this is the type of stories that matter. This is the type of shit that people are still going through today, right now, in prison, including my boy Chad Connors. Salute to him, who is locked down right now, suffering right now, today, for a conviction for murder, for pulling a curtain shut. Just want to put that right in the front of everybody's mind. Any chance I can get, right? Um, Beyond that, I'm editing an interview right now from a Marine, a person who served on the front lines in the war, spent mad time in the brig for some crazy shit that, we're going to get into it on the podcast. I've already done it. I'm editing it right now. Total fire. The dude's been in recovery. And I got to ask him some of these questions that I've been dying to ask a military veteran who's actually seen active combat, right? And it is such a great experience to talk to this dude because he actually suffers from PTSD. And what he said to me about it just blew the cap off of everything that I've been telling people since the beginning. We have so much in common. Military veterans and those who spend considerable time in maximum security prisons, who face the steel blades, who face the wars, who face the gangs and all the violence that comes along with it, all the trauma that comes along with being in the box for years at a time. Because and this is a fact. I'm talking to so many people, and another person I want to shout out and salute today this morning is my friend Danny Brunel. Great friend of mine. He was a good friend to my brothers too, off the strength of me, and just off the strength that my brother's a solid ass dude, bro. And he's the dude I made the video about having the heaviest hands, bro, knocking dudes out and shit. Like, this dude is a straight savage, but now he's out. And we are all struggling with so many similar things, dude. Like, all these guys I know that were pure savages inside the joint, that did what they had to do since they were little kids to survive in these terrible environments and circumstances, and are now trying to be better men, but are suffering with these traumas and suffering with these things. And like, just speaking with a military veteran who's telling me basically, like, the military is a breeding ground for mental illnesses and like things, that the same type of shit that we go through in prison behind the wall, right? And the reason why I can never let this go is because I still suffer from the things that I've been affected by behind the wall. And one of these things was this story that I'm about to tell you today about the prison medical care system and the shit that I went through. And it's not just about the medical care. It's not just about the system being super like a failure. It's about breaking my trust so bad with any type of medical care that I can't even deal with them now out here, like, without being like, on defense mode, because they just ruined me for medical. They've totally broken my trust for society, that there is something better out there. Like, I know there is. But with that said, right, today I gotta read something for you guys, because there's so many guys I talk to right now, every single day, still suffering from these things that I'm suffering from, the things that I go through. And like, I'm going to get into it in detail more as I go along in this podcast, that you're going to see just these things that they rear their ugly heads in our lives. And a lot of us don't even understand it. We don't understand it until we can find someone to verbalize it, put it into words, and show us exactly what it is we're feeling. And I feel like that's part of my duty. And it's something that I'm really good at I'm good at reading myself. I'm very good at knowing how I feel, why I feel that way, and where it comes from. And I don't know why I'm good at that. It's just that I feel like it's a God-given gift for me to give to other people. And that's something I'm going to do. I'm not going to stop. I'm never going to quit. This podcast is going to be going until I'm old, wrinkly, dead, whatever this situation may be, right? What's up, all you guys in the chat already, man? Showing up for me, man, for the W Number podcast, showing up for me, bro. That is big for me, man. I love all you guys. I appreciate you. Please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe. If you haven't become a member, you could become a member for $2.99. And let's tear this world a new asshole. Fuck everybody. fuck everything that tries to stand in our way as ex-convicts and people who are returning citizens to this country, right? Trying to do the right thing, but have been fucked up in one way or another by the system, by the military, by whatever we have, right? We are discardable to the government, but you're not discardable to me. You are not discardable to the people I fuck with, and I will never leave you behind. And that is a fact. I'm going to be here, right here, fighting for you guys, for everybody in addiction, everybody in recovery, everybody coming out of prison, everybody coming out of the military fucked up, and the government just doesn't give a fuck. Nobody cares unless you make them. And that's what I'm here to do today. And I'm telling you that I will not give up on you because you mean everything to me. And I'm telling you, your stories matter. And it just becomes so much more important to tell these stories. The more I hear the suffering that people are going through. And hell yeah, absolutely, man. So I'm gonna read you something, right? I haven't done it in a little bit, but this is what it's all about, and this is where it starts for me. And you never forget where you came from or why you started this shit, bro. God gave this to me. I didn't do this myself. God gave me my intellect. God gave me my heart. God gave me this fight, and I am going to pursue it in his name. Fact. Every fucking day of my life, right? So let me read you this real quick. And I got this. There's a correlating thing to it, right? So this isn't just a regular verse in the Bible, right? So this is Corinthians 9:24, right? It's, don't you realize that in a race everyone runs, but only one person gets the prize? So run to win. All athletes are disciplined in their training. They do it to win a prize that will fade away, but we do it for an eternal prize. So I run with purpose in every step. I am not just shadow boxing. I discipline my body like an athlete, training it to do what it should. Otherwise, I fear that after preaching to others, I myself might be disqualified. And let me just tell you exactly what I am doing today to make sure I am not disqualified in my own right, right? I quit smoking weed. This is something that's been hard for me because it helps me in so many ways, but I see its detriment in my podcast, my work ethic, my motivation, my intelligence. Everything suffers because I'm seeking something outside of God to help me, right? And it's not the truth. It is not the way. It is not the light. It fades my light. It fades my mind. I am not going to allow that, right? Number two, I quit smoking cigarettes, right? It's been 8 days today. I've had one cigarette and it was after sex. So it was like, I feel like it doesn't count, right? But I feel like these things will stop me from letting me be able to be there for my daughter when she's born, right? It'll stop me from being the disciplined person that I want to be for you guys and for myself every single day. I go to the gym. I make sure that the anger I have, I don't take it out with these anymore, right? Because I can't. I have a life sentence hanging over my head, not for nothing, but like my boy Danny told me this morning, we can't fight people because we don't fight normally. We hurt people, and people get scared after they see what we can do, right? It's not normal fighting. We take everything to the extreme because we've been taught that violence has to be a message. It has to be a statement, right? And every single time you use your hands, a weapon, whatever it is, you go to the fullest degree until this person's unrecognizable. And then you get up and laugh and piss on their face. Like, that is not the way life is supposed to be. We don't want to scare people into hating us. We want to bring people in to love us and accept us, but we also want to love and accept them, dude, right? So there's a correlating message with that verse, right? Let me tell you. It says, the process of recovery is a lot like training for a title bout in boxing or preparing for a marathon. These activities require a great deal of endurance and strict discipline for those who want to win. No one ever said recovery would be easy. And Paul makes it clear that growing in our relationship with God can be tough. If we want to succeed in recovery and grow spiritually, we need to focus on those goals. We need to give up the destructive activities that will slow us down and train rigorously. If we recognize that things won't be easy at the outset of our program and persevere towards our eternal prize, we will experience God's power and the freedom of recovery. And once you've experienced that power, once you've experienced the hand of God in your life, there is no changing that, because you know already, if you've been through it, you know the power that has over you. It can make a grown, solid man with an ice cold heart cry tears because he recognizes his pain. It's not easy, bro. It is not easy living every day with these pains, these traumas, these things. But you know what? You're not alone. You're not fucking alone. I promise you that. There's other people going through what you're going through. You just have to have the balls to talk about it, because we don't get anywhere by suffering in silence anymore, because people don't respect our suffering. They don't respect our path. They don't respect our mission or our journey, because they don't know about it, dude. And what they don't know, they fear. That is just the sorry, sad state of society now, is that they're cowards. You know, most people are fucking cowards. They're afraid to be themselves. They're afraid because they feel like they need to die with these secrets in order for other people to respect them. Like, you got my friend, I'm not going to put him out there because he doesn't, it is very hard once you're recognized as an ex-convict, someone who's been in the system for a long time, and you own a business now. Once it's out there, it's like, yeah, you were a violent criminal, you beat motherfuckers up in prison, you ran with a gang, whatever it is, right? You know, the bank doesn't look at you the same anymore when you want grants and loans. They look at you like you're a liability. You might lose their money. You might go back to prison, and they won't give it to you. They don't give a shit whether you win or lose, right? You have to give a shit whether you win or lose. And that's one of the commitments that you take and make when you tell your story about prison and drug addiction and trauma. Unfortunately, that's what we must go through, right? As people in returning citizens and ex-convicts. But I just wanted to share that little verse with you today before I get into my story. Let me hit this chat real quick and see who's in it. And if you can, while you're here, hit the like button for me, guys, and maybe hype it after, whatever it is. That all helps the channel move, right? So please do that, right? Oh, Billy Tibbetts, what's up, brother? How you doing, man? Yeah, cigarettes are for scumbags. You're fucking crazy. Billy, what's going on, man? How you doing, bro? Low red eyes, man. How you doing, brother? Tyler, Chicago, what's going on? How you guys doing? Big chops. Sun 84 Maine. Salute from Richmond, Virginia. Okay, Richmond, Virginia, bro. That's my first time seeing someone from Richmond in here. Where you guys all tapping in from, man? Let me know. Oh shit, Timbuktu, what's good, bro? How you doing, brother? Yeah. Man, bro, it's good to be back up on here, bro. So without further ado, let me get into this story, because this story is the story that changed my bid. It changed my life. It fucked up my head, and it made me feel like I was trash, bro, because it's different when you go outside of the prison and you see like doctors and physicians that are treating other people in society, and they treat you like you're scum because they feel like it's the expectation on them to treat you like that because you're with two COs that are carrying them with you, right? That is what it is, right? It's like they feel like they're doing the right thing by treating you like shit in front of them, right? But when you're alone with them, they're nice, right? Oh, like, or something like, but I don't know. It's not always like that either. When you're alone, they could just be just as shitty to you, right? But uh, yeah, that verse is perfect, brother. I already know, Billy. I already know, and that's why I said it, because there's so many of my friends going through so much shit today, right now, as we speak, and it's sad, bro. I've become a counselor, a therapist, and a good friend to so many people because I've talked in doing this podcast. I talk to so many people, and I see the root of their problems in their stories and shit. And it's like, man, I know the solution right now, and I feel like that solution is Jesus Christ. But that's my solution for me. What works for you is different. Everybody's different, but I feel like if you gave that a chance, you might never go back, because it's what works, and it will work. You have to have patience, and like I said, you got to be disciplined. Like everything else, you need to be disciplined in your faith, like you are in the gym, like you are with getting your drugs. If you pursue Jesus like you pursue dope, whoo, guy, the payoff the payoff is gonna be incredible, right? Imagine that. So, anyways, right? In 2009, I broke my foot for the first time. I was in the cell with my friend Nate. He was from the Cape. We had been playing football out in the yard in the max for a while, right? And this is like tackle football. Like we come back to the cell dirty, sweaty, bleeding, fucked up. Like a shower is the truth. Like you need a shower, dude. You can't just go lay in your bed, bro, right? But my boy was a little bit of a fucking, savage, dude. He just got up to the max, really. He came up there with an increasingly bad or increasingly worse addiction, right? Because once he got upstate, he realized he could get all these different drugs, all these different pills, and he was getting fucked up and chasing the drugs, not paying his bills right, not doing some of these things that were the right thing for him to do. I was trying to show him some of these things, the right way to move. But at the same time, 2009, you got to remember, I was like 24 or something like that. I was young. Actually, I was 23. I was a young kid, dude, right? So I get mad at him. I get drunk. And I'm like, yo, wash your damn clothes, bro. You smell like a wet dog. He had long hair. He was in really good shape. Kid could fight his ass off. Like he was a tough kid, but a lot of kids from my area come up looking up to me. Like some of them thought I was more than a man. Like, you know what I mean? Like they were scared to fight me. They probably could have did pretty good fighting me. But, I put on such a good, it wasn't even a front. I was totally unaware of my own fear. I was totally unaware of my own, like, savageness, like how I came off. I was heartless at times, and I'm not proud of that at all. And I hate when people come in this chat talking about you're glamorizing prison and you're glorifying violence. And it's like, dude, go fuck yourself, kid. This is the way we lived. This is the truth, bro. This ain't the fucking glorification. If you want me to glorify it, I'll be like, yo, it was so fun, bro. I was in there stomping on his head, dude, seeing his eyeballs bulge out like they're gonna pop out. I ripped his fucking tongue. Like, dude, that is glorifying. I'm not saying it like that, dude, right? But anyways, right? I get into an argument with him in the cell, and long story short, I was drunk. I end up taking his laundry bag, and it was full of dirty clothes. I kick it, but my foot went through. Like, obviously, it's a laundry bag. It's not going to be heavy like that. I kick it. My foot goes through it. I'm drunk, so it hits the bottom of the toilet. Dang. So the kid starts laughing like it's funny, but I was in pain. So I'm like, oh, you think that's funny? So I start kicking everything in the room, right? Like breaking everything, fucking kicking the doors, kicking the lockers, like booting shit, dude. Well, next morning I wake up and my foot's like this, dude. Like swollen big, dude. My foot's definitely broken, but I didn't even realize it that whole night. You know what I mean? So at this time, I had a few people that owed me money for Suboxone because I was selling Suboxone. My boy Shavink, always doing his thing, you know what I mean? Was looking out, throwing me some pieces to sell and shit. Like obviously I would pay him after, like I would get the money, pay him and shit. He trusted my word. I was always good for my money. So I get the shit, I'm selling it. When someone doesn't pay me, it means I have to come out of my own pocket to pay them, right? So I get mad, even if it's $40. Back then, $40 to me was a lot. I was 23 years old and I'm fucking hustling, nickels and dimes type shit. Like I need my money. You know what I mean? And every single dollar was more like a statement than anything. It was like respect issue. It wasn't about the $40. It was about the fact that you think you cannot pay me that $40, right? So I get into this shit with this kid and break my foot. I go up to medical. They told me my foot was fine, but they gave me crutches and Tylenol 3s. This shit was swollen like a motherfucker, but they didn't tell me it was broken or anything like that, right? So I get lugged on purpose because I get a kite from L2. L2 back then was the disciplinary block before they switched everything from the top to the bottom of the prison, right? So they switched the whole prison around and they took all the aggressive blocks, which is N2, P2, L2, G2, and they switched it to downstairs so that we were all on the bottom floor and anybody that went to the chow hall was already on the floor where the chow hall was. So there was no like passing other people in the hallways and seeing them and moving on them and shit. So they switched the prison around, but before they did that, L2 was a DSU block. So I get a kite from the DSU block from this kid who owed me money. He told me stop acting like a girl, right? He like, oh, I'll pay you your money. Stop acting like a girl. The kid Sleeper, who he vouched for and why he owed me the money, because let's be honest, that kid actually paid me. It was the kid he sat there and vouched for. Now I made him vouch for him because the kid Sleeper was going home. Sleeper's a scumbag, right? So just saying, right? If you're watching Sleeper, you're a scumbag, right? You burn people and you go home. That's not cool, right? Leaving people in prison with bills to pay and going home, right? You're a bitch. But anyways, right? So I'm not going to say that. Like, let me rephrase that. Like, let me forgive that because that's old news and we were all addicted. I'm sorry. Yeah. Let me not get stuck in that mind frame, right? But anyways, he owed me the money, told me stop acting like a girl, like he vouched for this kid, blah blah blah. So I write him back like, oh, I'm acting like a girl. Okay, see you soon, pal. I got lugged on purpose. I forget exactly what it was I did, but it was like a minor thing so that I could go to the DSU block and not the hole, right? I get over there. That's where he was, but they put me on the other side of the tier. So right when I get there, there's this other fucking clown kid that like I ended up getting into an argument with in the box. I sold him some Klonopins and he got all beamed out and said, I don't even feel it. Ugh. Right. So I'm like, okay, pal. Right. But he ends up running his mouth when he's beamed out saying that I paid George Perot for protection and all this stupid shit. Right. Now it's hilarious because, you know me. And if you know George, like, I'm not paying anybody for protection ever. Matter of fact, you might need to pay me for protection. But it was just laughable. You know what I mean? It was like he was straight forcing it, making shit up. But Bobby was his name, Bobby something. But yeah, the kid was a clown, like vicious clown. But he was over there on my side of the tier, so he was actually my neighbor, right? He was another person. Like I felt like if I see him, I'm on site with this motherfucker, right? Yo, so yeah, no, sleeper's fine. He's not dead, Tibbs. I mean, I'm not gonna fucking force it like that. Like the kid just, he was addicted. He owed me money, whatever, bro. Right. So, anyways, I get over there. This kid's my neighbor, dude. Right. So as soon as the doors crack, I'm waiting in my cell with my crutch. Now I got a broken foot, so whatever goes, kid. This is prison. I'm winning one way or the other. Right. So he comes to the door, and I got the crutch in my hand. And I'm like, come on in, motherfucker. Let's go. You know what I mean? Like, it's time to pay the dues, right? But he ended up copping deuces. Like, oh, Maddie, like, we don't need to do this, bro. Like, I was beamed out, blah, blah, blah. But then he goes over to, like, my friend Jesse Semino and he starts fucking talking shit. But this was after I got moved to the other side. Like, the kid he was a clown, right? I'm going to tell you another story about him in a couple minutes. I gave him a knife to stab this dude. I'll actually tell you that right now because I'm already on it. So fast forward, like, I think a year or something like that. He went to DDU, came out. I was in N2. He comes down out of the hole, comes to my cell of all places, to the door. My door was closed, obviously, because if it was open, I would have just moved on him right there and then, right? But he comes to my cell and he's like, yo, Maddie, I know we got our issues, but this is against another race. Like, I need a banger. I said, oh, really? Okay. So you want me to give you a knife? I was like, picture that, right? And he was like, yo, Maddie, I understand, bro. I'm not, he's like, he's like, I'm really gonna have to use it with this dude, bro. So I said, okay, two things. First, I'm watching, right? You're gonna show me, I want to see you do this because like I love the entertainment. And the second thing is if you try to use it on me, I'm going to kill you. Fact. Like you can't beat me, period. He was like, I promise you, I'll give you my word. I'm not gonna do that, blah, blah, blah. So I give him the knife. I slide under the door, dude. Bro, he goes up through the line and he was getting his tray. The dude was a tray runner, right? Now, not for nothing, the dude is a straight like rat, fucking no good, fucking, burning my friends for drugs that like packs that were coming through and shit. I'm not gonna put his name out there. He's like doing all himself, but whatever. So he was like cutting the strips in half. You know what I mean? Giving them the half a strip, saying they were whole strips because we had never gotten them before. So he was the only person that had gotten them the first time. And he was like, taking advantage of the fact that we didn't know what they looked like. So he's cutting them in half. And the way we found out is because I got a whole strip from somebody else that was doing it now. And I give my boy an eighth. And he said, yo, I don't need a quarter. He's like, I only want an eighth. And I was like, that's an eighth. You know what I mean? He's like, no, this is a quarter. I said, no, that's an eighth. You know what I mean? I just bought the whole strip. I know what it is. That's an eighth of a strip. And so he's like, oh, the next thing I know, there was a bloody mess over there on L2. So, anyways, right? And that was my boy Trevink and fucking Kevin Blood going in over there, dude. Like, they came out of cell. Oh, that shit was a savage one, kid. That was a good one, bro. But anyway, so this dude is my neighbor. He comes in the cell, cops deuces, right? So now there's a cop on the block that he fucked with all of us. I'm actually going to say his name because he's actually a good dude, bro. Like, I really like this guy. He's not a bad CO. He never did the wrong, like, he never did some slimy shit ever in my time there. Mason, right? Salute to Mason for being a decent dude, right? But I ended up tricking him. I told him that I couldn't get up and down the stairs because I had the crutch. So he moved me down to the other side of the tier on the other side, right? And so I could be on that side of the tier. That was the only cells open were on the bottom tier was on the other side. So that's why I told him that, right? So I knew I'd move over next to this kid that I had beef with. And I ended up getting the move. I go down to the other side of the tier with my crutch, and but as soon as the doors cracked, I go to the kid's cell, and his name was Joey. I'll say his first name was Joey. And I go into Joey's cell and I start fighting him. I didn't use the crutch. I put it aside, like, you know what I mean? Because I felt like I could take this kid without it, right? Initially, and then I almost lost. I'm not gonna lie. This was a very close call for me, but I ended up winning a stellar win. Like, I'm gonna tell you how it went down, right? Not glorifying, just telling you how it went down, right? Not for nothing. I already told you I almost lost, so I have to tell you now. But right. So we end up fighting, right? I come in over the top. I'm hitting him. I have his arm pressed up against his shoulder, like across his body like this. And I'm pushing him up against the sink and I'm hitting him. Boom, boom, boom. But the way he tipped me made me like, lean back on that foot. And as soon as I did that, it was like pain through my body. I didn't know my foot was really broken at this time. And I'm telling you the lead up to this terrible story, this medical care, right? So, I step on my foot like that, and it was just like, whoo. I stopped fighting for a second and let him do what he was doing. Like, he started like trying to punch me, didn't even hit me in the shoulder or something like that. And like, I just sat there for a second, was like, oh, but he scooped me before I could really think about it and got me on the bed. And so I'm on my back and he's on top of me like this, right? Now it's at the end of the bunk. So there's a ladder right here. Now I've been in this situation again after this, won that fight too stellarly, right? Not for nothing, but that's glorifying. If you want to know, I won that one stellarly. Serious knockout. There you go for your glorification, pal. All the ammunition you need right there. Whatever. Fuck you. But so I end up on my back. And I pin him up with my knee into the corner of the bunk so he can't reach me with his hands, but I can reach him. So I reach in and every time he stops punching, I go in and boom, 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 boom. I start lighting him up for my back, right? Now my friend Jesse's at the door, watching the door to make sure that we don't get caught and shit and make sure it's a fair fight, all that. No one pulls a weapon or whatever. Because if this kid pulled a weapon, he would be in there for me, right? Jesse was my friend. So he wasn't there for him. He was there for me, So Jesse's trying to tell this kid, reset. You know what I mean? Give him a chance, like, to stand up because it was turning into like a fight where I was on my back and he couldn't see what I was doing. So he just thought I was on my back and I might lose, but I was really not even losing at all. I pinned him up against the thing. I was lighting him up. And when I got sick of him not letting me up and not reset, I took my thumb and I stuck it in his eye and I popped his eye out of his fucking head into my palm. Like, it was like wet, nasty eyeball, like touching my palm. So I just smushed it in his face like that, like up against the bunk. I'm just, because I didn't want it to like fall on me or do something. I didn't know it wasn't going to come all the way out of his head, but it was like, very far out. It looked like one of those weird bug-eye people. You know what I mean? So I'm like, ugh, now, but after that, he was like flats. Mason was on the flats. So we got up. But when we stood up, the cop was already coming around. My shirt was ripped a little bit. He was all bloody. His eye is going like this now. He had after this happened, his eye never was the same. It was looking in different directions, right? I don't know what happened to it, right? But something that I did to his eye fucked it up for life, right? But so he could look at the wall and you at the same time, right? But anyways, he had his back 100%. He could see behind his back and in front of him. I'm fucking with you. Anyways, dude, right? So I end up going out the cell to walk down towards my cell so he doesn't see me with the ripped shirt in his cell and him with bloody face. You know what I mean? So I walked down towards my cell. He ended up catching the play, though. It was, he seen the kid in the cell. He knew that I just got moved down to that side of the tier. He seen Jesse down there. There wasn't many people on the DSU block. He kind of figured it out what was going on before it was even going on. It wasn't even a time for a round. Little did I know. So he was doing a round because he had an idea of what was going on. So when I got back to my cell, I didn't get lugged right away. Like, he walked around, see what was happening. They didn't press the alarm or anything. But when we got locked in for rec, like when rec was over, they came and they grabbed me and they grabbed him. Right. So I ended up getting lugged to the hole. When I'm in the hole, I ended up seeing, I don't know what happened at that time in the home. That was just the beginning of my injury. I forget exactly what was going on then. That was my first bid. Fast forward, my second bid, right? I come back now. Now, the rest of my bid on that time, that sentence, my foot was hurting me. And I didn't know why. I was like, they told me it wasn't broken, but it just never was the same again, right? And it started growing like, it looked like it was like growing a bunion or something on the side of my toe because, little did I know it was healing wrong. It was broken and it was healing wrong, right? That was the first time I broke it. So fast forward, second bid, I get back. My boy Jacob gets me moved up to, when I first came back on this second bid, he got me moved up to M2 after I came back from Walpole, right? Like after I was 52A, I got sentenced, went to Walpole, came back. Now I'm in the orientation block. He worked in the classification officer's office, which was Erickson at the time, right? The woman who got pounded out by 40 during when that cop got stabbed in the neck, and you see the x-ray, like you could look it up online. SBCC cops get stabbed in the neck in Shirley, x-ray, right? Look it up, Google it, right? After you're done with this episode, though, don't go anywhere yet. You could see that later. But this knife is through his neck. But anyways, during that little riot there, this kid 40 jumped off the top tier. He's doing a life sentence, starts ripping Erickson's hair out, beating the brakes off her. Like, a few cops got fucked up that time, and they were not happy about that. But, I don't know exactly. Oh yeah, Jacob. So, anyways, right. So Erickson, that's why I was talking about it. Erickson was the classification. After that happens, they moved her up to a classification and they let her, classify people. And salute to her for being a strong woman and not giving up on the job entirely and not becoming bitter towards convicts, which is a good thing. Like, that's a really hard thing to do when you go through something traumatic like that. She was traumatized. She was beaten very badly, chunks of her hair ripped out, like vicious, by people that were never going home and were very mad at the police for the way we were getting treated at the time, right? And it all started over the guy Bouvet, who was being a vicious, vicious bitch, and he took the kid's stinger. It was the Asian kid who did it. He took his stinger and like threw it away in the middle of he was cooking a meal, in the middle of him cooking a meal, which, if you know like anything about convict code, like that's just super disrespectful and gay. You know what I mean? Like, that cop was a punk for that. He could have waited till they were done, or just not even taking it at all, considering the fact that everybody on the block has a stinger and we have no other way to heat up water, right? That's just how you have to cook. You know what I mean? Nobody was known for throwing hot water, hot oil, hot nothing on anybody. Like, we didn't do that on purpose because we know we have stingers and that's the only way we can cook with them. Plus, we have steel blades. You don't need to do that shit, right? You can get up close and personal in a whole nother type of way. So, anyways, right? So I get moved up to M2. Erickson got me moved over there from Jacob, put in the word for me. He wanted one of his friends up there. As soon as I get up there, I'm getting packages. God rest his soul, but Moby was getting mad strips. And I could talk about it because this method is busted. It's been busted. It is gone. There's no way to do it anymore. But we were getting it in the legal mail, in the manila envelopes. Boom, they were coming through big time, right? So as soon as I got up there, I had strips. My boy gave me 5 strips, bro. I'm like making money, doing my thing. It wasn't a bad hit, but this kid ended up owing me money. Again, $40. Imagine that. $40. I broke my fucking foot twice over $40. Twice. It was actually 80 if you put it together, but it's such a weird coincidence. I never even put that together yet. See what this podcast does? Allows me to connect the dots, right? So, anyways, I get into a beef with this kid. He goes to my table when the only morning I skip lunch or skip breakfast, sorry. The only morning I skip breakfast, this kid goes to my table and tells him that he doesn't owe me no money anymore. He did what I asked him to do, which he didn't. I did it. Little did he know. He's a fucking idiot. Kid was a straight retard, not for nothing, but he was a rat. Like a certified rat. We caught him red-handed after all this. The cops gave the note that he was sending to the Ips back to the block. He was like, yo, you know, this kid just sent this letter to the Ips and slid it back under the door. That letter went around the prison like wildfire, dude. Like the kid was a straight up stool pigeon. And I knew it then because I caught him too, but it was just not provable. You know what I mean? It was one of those things that you just know because we all got called down for urines after I checked this guy off the block. And that was what he allegedly said he did for me, was check the guy off the block. But I told him he had to do it in a different way than what was done. I told him it has to be done in blood on the tier. Like I want the guy gone, you know? But he didn't do that, and the guy just left. You know what I mean? And it was because I did it. I was just telling him like, yo, you're gonna end up getting hurt. You gotta go. You know what I mean? Like you're no good. Wow, this kid let this guy, you know what I mean, take the rat for being a rat. Like I shouldn't have did that. This is me fucking up. There was an older man. I should have never fucking checked him off the block. It wasn't, I don't even think it was him that told, because now looking back, I know it was him that was telling, at least partially. Maybe this guy did tell. Guys definitely heard him on the phone talking to somebody about what was going on at the tables in the chow hall. And that's why we thought he was the one telling, because really what this whole situation was over was me taking people from my area in the chow hall. It's the first time they ever let me in the chow hall when I got sent, moved up to M2 by Jacob. So I get up there and start checking people out of that area. You know what I mean? I don't want the universal table next to me. I don't want the Skinners right next to me. I don't want none of that shit. I want them all gone away from my area, dude, right? So I started moving people. You got to go. You got to go. Now, there was like whole tables with two guys at it because nobody could sit over there anymore. And like people were like, getting in fights over these guys moving over to another table and sitting in someone else's chair and just getting wiped down. So now they're like, yo, why is there fights going on? And they look into it and boom, they find out I'm moving guys away from that area. So they're getting beat up by the other tables. You know what I mean? As they go try to find new chairs. Right. And that's just not how it works. And that's a fightable offense immediately. If you sit in someone else's seat and don't move or like try to fight with it, like argue with it, like, no. I'm sitting here, like your name's not on it. No. It is on it. Basically, by the code, it's on it. You know what I mean? The convict code says my name's on that chair, right? Just like the phones, when you save a phone, like the code says my name's on that phone. But like, that's regardless, right? So I ended up going back to the block and I moved on the kid. You know what I mean? I kicked him in the face, right? But I kicked him in the face so hard that my toes split in the middle right here. Like I needed stitches between the web of my toes because the way I kicked him, I toe kicked him in the face. And like I pulled his shirt over his head, lifted it up like this, like with the hem of his shirt. I had it underneath it was like over his head from the back. And I put the bottom right here underneath. It was like that, pulled it up and just wham, really gave it to him good, dude. Like it got like the cops were like, damn, I haven't seen an old school beat down like that in a long time type shit, but I got 18 months in DDU. Oh, sorry. On that one, I got only a year in DDU, right? That was the first year in DDU I did on my second bid when I came back. Right. So that's what kicked off my segregation run that time. And every time you get a DDU bid, you get longer. So every time you go back, you cannot do less time in DDU, allegedly, according to the fucking schmucks who run those kangaroo court DDU boards, right? Like you go in there and it's an automatic lose. You know what I mean? No matter what you do, you could be totally innocent, totally prove your innocence, but by a preponderance of evidence, you're guilty, right? The preponderance of evidence, what is that? The ticket that the fucking cop lied on? Sure, whatever, right? That's the preponderance evidence. My word against all this evidence, right? But, that's just the way it goes. You know what I mean? It's kangaroo court. You're fighting an uphill battle. You are not a human being in their eyes. You are a statistic. You are a number, a W number. And that just is what it is, right? Let me get to this chat real quick, guys. I'm going to get right back to the story. I know exactly where I'm at. It's with Donnie Diamond getting kicked in the fucking face by me and breaking my foot, right? Detroit Fetty Ghost, what's good, bro? I definitely been seeing you in the comments, man. I appreciate all the love, all the support. Anybody who's listening to this right now, please hit the like button and share it after you're done. Hit the hypes, all that shit, man. This really helps my podcast grow. So, Billy Tibbets and Bats, what's going on, Bats? How you doing, brother? It's good to see you out and about now, man. I know you were real depressed before. Oh yeah, hit those hearts and hundreds on the live chat at the bottom. You'll see the hearts and hundreds. And if you want to support if you want to support this podcast monetarily, please look at the Cash App and the PayPal at the bottom. And if you also want, you could do super chats. And if you want your question or your comment heard 100%, if you have a question for me and you want me to see it, super chat's the way to go. I'll always see it and I'll always answer it, right? So with that being said, let me get back to this story. So I boot this kid in the face, break my foot bad. Now, I know it's broken, but I end up in the box, right? And when I'm in the box, I see the superintendent coming around. Now, before I even get to the box, though, before I even get in there, I go to medical because you have to get cleared by medical first. But when I'm in medical, I show that obviously they see my foot. I can't even wear a fucking shoe. Yeah, thank you, bro. C. Perry, man. How you doing, man? 408. C. Perry, 408. Keep at it, bro. The algorithm will bless you coming soon. Much love, much respect from the Bay Area. Okay, then. Thank you, bro. I pray that it does, man, because man, I put in a lot of work. Just recently being sick and going through all this shit's different, but I still am working. Like, don't get that twisted. I'm recording episodes. It's just getting to edit them and all that stuff. I have a couple right now I'm editing, but this one that I come in next, the military one, love it. Anyway, so I get to the medical. I'm sitting in there now. Dr. Summers, big part of this. Dr. fucking Summers, right? This lady, let me tell you something about evil, right? Hated convicts, did not give a about her Hippocratic oath, right? She did not give a shit about you, right? It was all about a paycheck, and she wanted to do as little as possible for you in order for her to get paid more. Because what they do is the like, if you're a doctor in there, if you can, cut costs, cut prescription costs, cut medical costs, cut sending people out to the hospital costs, you are now a good doctor to the DOC. You have helped them. It's not about getting medical care for the patients. It's about how you can get over on to not give it to them, how you can get over and not get sued and not give it to them. Like, that's the way to go. Like, if they can, as long as they can make it so that you can't prove they are doing you dirty, which is what they do, is they'll throw away medical slips. They'll throw away medical grievances. They'll disregard them completely and act like you never filed them. They will do the dirtiest shit to make sure that you do not get hurt or seen. And that if you ever pursue a case against them, there's nothing there to pursue it with. But you got to be smarter than that. So what I did was I photocopied everything. Every sick slip I put in, every medical grievance I put in. If I couldn't make an actual photocopy of it, I would make a handwritten physical copy exactly the same as what I did, because I have to have, doubles. And even that, they'll come in your cell, they'll try to find it, and they'll try to throw it away. They want to make sure all the evidence is taken care of, but you got to be smarter than that too. So what I would do about that is I'd send it home. I'd send it home every couple of weeks in other type of mail through other people, right? So they could never figure it out how I'm getting all this stuff and keeping all these records, right? The evidence I stacked up against them is so massive and so it's so irrefutable that I actually won a medical malpractice tribunal with no expert, no attorney, and I was facing a judge, a medical malpractice attorney, and a doctor, right, who was hearing the case, and my opposition attorney from one of the highest paid, Fixman and Connolly, right? That was one of the highest paid medical malpractice, personal injury firm defense attorneys there is, right? Fixman and Connolly actually took this case on himself because I was smashing them. They could not stop me. I was a beast. And this is what sparked, and maybe I always had it in me, but this is what sparked that incurable need for revenge and justice for all of us. Is this fight in me right now? That fight there started then, right? So I fucking, I start fighting, right? But anyways, I gotta get up to that part because I got 2 degrees based off this, right? I got a paralegal certificate, which is a legit, I could go and get in any law firm as a paralegal. Like I did it the legit way. I went to school, Blackstone, Career Institute, got my paralegal certificate, and then I went for further education and I got a degree in civil litigation, right? I was gonna go for further and get constitutional. I was gonna do the constitutional course, but I felt like I had everything I needed with those 2 courses and those 2 degrees. So I was like, whatever, because I was fighting. I would write motions and just go hard on them, right? So anyways, um I I'm in the hole now. I go to see Dr. Summers in medical. She looks at my foot and tells me that she can't send me out for this, but I need stitches. But she can't send me out, but she can't do the stitches either. So she's just gonna do butterfly stitches, right? So she taped up in between my toes like it was gonna stay there. Like, what are you, retarded? I take showers, I sweat, your feet sweat, right? You can't do that. Like, you need to stitch that shit. But she cut costs and she won. She was a great doctor for the DOC because she did nothing for anybody, right? And she justified it. She would wait until you were literally dying. She's the one who oversaw Ricky Costa, the person who ran Walpole with an iron fist through the 90s and 80s and even 70s, right? Like, this dude was a boss. She watched him die of cancer. Like, this woman is a fucking evil woman, bro. All of them are. Dr. Carrillo was way worse, though. We're talking about degrees of evil here. Like, she is a maggot hunk of shit, right? We're gonna get to that. Anyways, so I go whatchamacallit, OG Jamaican, what's good, bro? How you doing, man? Absolutely, Detroit Fetty Ghost. Appreciate you, bro. So I go oh yeah, she tells me no, they're not sending me out. So I have no sock, I have no shoe. They take my shoes because that's evidence, you know what I mean, for the fight. They take my socks and there's blood all over it because anything with blood, they're like taking it, evidence, right? So I asked her if I could get a wheelchair. I could hardly walk. My foot is like this. It's split down the center. It is very painful at this point, right? Now, I'm not expecting people to feel bad for me. I got into a fight. I injured my foot, but still I am a human being and I was deserving of some type of compassion, and not just that, but adequate medical care. Regardless of what happened, the fact is I was in prison and I was in an atmosphere and in a place that you were forced to behave in this manner, not just forced, but expected to behave like this by the cops, by the administration, and by the other convicts. Not for nothing, but also by society. All you perfect citizens out there, right? You throw us in there and you know what's going on. You're just as culpable. Moving on, right? So I asked for a wheelchair, crutches. Nope, nothing, right? I get sent to the hole. I have to walk down the hallway barefoot with a giant cut in between my toes. Now, not for nothing, still bleeding, still swollen. So they made me walk to the box with bare feet down the hallway with a serious injury, right? So I get to the box. It's happy hour that week. When happy hour comes around, I catch the superintendent and I tell the superintendent, I go, yo, bro, look at my foot. As soon as he looked at my foot, I said, now you're responsible because look at this. Medical is refusing to treat me. They haven't given me an x-ray. They're telling me my foot is fine. Do you think it's fine? He's looking at it like, the next day I was seen by medical. I was put on Tylenol 3s for more than a year the next day, right? It started all the next day after I seen that superintendent, and I forced him to take his duty seriously because I told him, and he could see it in my eyes, I was not playing. Like, you get me the fucking help, or my celly and me just witness me in pain and tell me that it does not look good, right? So now I got you, pal. So I get treated the next day. I get x-rays. I get seen by Dr. Summers to go over the x-ray. It's fine. It's not broken, she says. So, wow, really? Like, I was shocked when she told me that. Like, I could have sworn my foot was broken. I could feel that shit hurt. Like, that was probably one of the, it was close to before the surgery. It was close to one of the worst pains I felt. It was in your foot. You have to be on it. Like, I couldn't even get out of my bed. I laid on my bed. I put a pillow under my foot and I put it up. So I'm sitting in there and I'm fucking around, right? So I get sent to DDU. I get sent to SDP. So SDP is long-term segregation for people who have a diagnosis for mental health. So if you have anxiety, major depression, ADHD, those are all Access One diagnoses, which are legally, you're not supposed to spend more than 30 days in solitary confinement, right? But they completely disregard that as well. And that changed even for the worse once they actually changed the laws. And I'm going to get into that too, right? So they changed the laws trying to say it's going to be better, but it was so much worse after, right? Like, they literally fucked us and knew exactly what they were doing when they did that shit. They changed the laws, right? To make it so that every diagnosis was actually a diagnosis fit for these blocks. They knew what they were doing. They were going to clog the system so that only very few people could get up there and everybody else has to go and sit and wait in DDU, the actual real DDU. And so I spent tons of time in DDU waiting to go over there several times. Like, I've been to DDU now. Like, you're not even supposed to legally be there, right? If you kill yourself when you're there, then boom, your family's got serious lawsuit money coming to them. But anyways, right? So I get up to the box. I get into SDP. My foot is not getting better. It's hurting. It's causing me serious problems with my gait. And now my back's starting to hurt. All these other things are correlating now. So, but I'm still working out through it. Like, I still doing my burpees because I don't have a choice. I still have to be able to defend myself. I'm still in a maximum security environment where your physical fitness and mental fitness is very important. You need to be able to defend yourself. You need to be able to fight your ass off when it comes time for life and death. And it will come time for life and death sooner or later, bro. Every single fight is a life and death situation because you never know if the dude's going to pull out a weapon and stab you in the neck. You don't know if he's going to pull out a weapon and try to take your life. Every single fight is potential for that because almost everybody has weapons. And that's just a fact of life inside of prison, right? Inside of a maximum security fucking prison, right? You have to be able to defend yourself, right? So anyways, I'm in DDU. I'm sitting I'm in the SDP at this point, right? So I'm sitting up there, I'm putting in slips. I'm telling medical every time they come around during happy hour, like, look at my foot. This is what's going on. Like, my foot's hurting me. I need to see somebody about this. Finally, I get to see the podiatrist. I go down there. Now, this podiatrist name's Charles King, right? I go down to see Dr. King. Dr. King says, well, your foot's all messed up because you didn't treat it right. I said, I didn't treat it right. What the hell are you talking about? I did everything I could for my foot that I could do, you know? He's like, well, when you break your foot, you have to, you have to treat it a certain way or you're going to fucking, your foot's going to get fucked up. I said, what do you mean? I never broke my foot. Said, well, you never broke your foot. He's like, I got the x-ray pictures. He's like, you broke your foot in 4 places twice. Said, what? I've been told my foot is, in quote, fine for years. What are you talking about? No one ever told me my foot was broken. He was like, well, let me show you. He puts the pictures up. See this fracture? See this fracture? And then he puts the other one up. Boom. It was the earlier one from 2009. He's like, you see this fracture? And then this fracture down here. They're hairline fractures on the first one. And I'm like, yeah, wow. He's like, I was like, those are breaks. Those are like where these black lines are or whatever. So he's like, yeah, those are breaks. Like, you have to treat this stuff right, or else you're gonna be fucked up. I said, well, I didn't even know it was broken, so how am I gonna treat it right? You know what I mean? And he's like, well, they should have did some more for you. Like, they had to, an obligation to tell me my foot was broken, send me to the hospital, and get me treated. They didn't do none of that. Cutting costs was the utmost importance for Dr. Summers and every other physician that worked there. The reason why Dr. Charles King was not on that same path is because he was from private practice, and he was called there only once a week or once a month, I think it was, to see patients for specific foot injuries, right? And he wasn't a prison doctor. So when he comes to see me, he tells me the truth because he has nothing to gain or lose from these people. Like, I forget what they called it. Maybe somebody in the chat will know. Hey, what's up, Lynn? How you doing today? But maybe somebody in the chat will know what it's called when they employ a physician from the outside to come treat people that from the inside, whatever. I don't know exactly what they call, but anyway, so like an outside entity, you know what I mean? He was his own entity. But anyways, tells me this, right? So I'm like, wow, that's fucked up. Like, my foot's been broken, it's fucked up. Now it's got bone spurs, a bunion. It's got this thing. It's called a kickboxer's condition. Like, so what happens is the bone, it from the breaks, it builds up over it to try to correct itself, like it to like make sure it like heals, like it like builds into these cracks, and it creates bone spurs from rubbing together while you're moving and walking, because as it's broken and you're still moving on it, walking on it, it's fucking it up. Like, so it like built this bone lip up on the top, so I couldn't bend my toe up, right? So it only bend down. So when I'm walking, like I have to walk on the outside of my foot because I couldn't bend it up, right? And he's like, okay, we're gonna have to send you to see a surgeon at the Shattuck, to get surgery, because really you're gonna need surgery. You know what I mean? Regardless, right? They tried cortisone injections, they tried all this stuff, and it just wasn't doing what it was supposed to. Like, I was still fucked up. I couldn't even really walk right. It was causing me problems with my gait, my back, and all this other shit. So I'm in DDU this whole time, mind you, like in the STP in solitary confinement. I don't get to walk to the prison doctor. I don't get to like leave my cell to go to happy hour. Like, I have to wait for them to come to me, whatever. So, fast forward, I see Dr. Crillo, right? What's going on, DT Watt, man? What's going on? How you doing, brother? So everybody here, man, if you could hit that like button for me, and when you're done watching, share it. Appreciate you. Hype it, all that. And if you haven't become a member, you could become a member for $2.99. Support something great, man. And if you leave me a super chat, if you want to be heard or seen on the chat, ask me a question, whatever it is, or support the channel monetarily, you could do that. It's right at the bottom of the screen. So anyways, I get to a whatchamacallit, what is it saying? Oh yeah. So I get to the surgeon, Dr. Crillo. She tells me, like, look, you're gonna have to have surgery. It's this thing called a chelectomy. Very simple surgery, little incision, 1-inch incision along the top of your toe. We go in, we remove that bone lip. That's why it's called a chelectomy. It's a Greek word for the lip, right? Like a lip, a chelectomy, right? And it happens a lot to kickboxers because the constant trauma on their toe from kicking. So I go, okay, cool. I don't want to have surgery where I'm laid up though, because I have to be able to defend myself. I'm in a maximum security prison. Like, I can't be fucked up. And she's like, no. You could be walking the same day and you'll be back to 100% within a week. Said, perfect. Let's do this. I'm in DDU right now, so that wouldn't be a bad thing for me. Let's get this done. So I go back to the prison. I wait for a while. They end up sending me in for the surgery, right? I go in to have the surgery, and it's this chelectomy. She re-explains it to me. Very simple surgery, really good recovery, quick, easy, painless. He said it's relatively painless. I go in to have the surgery done, right? They fucking did a bunionectomy and a chelectomy and put pins in my foot and never told me, right? So I wake up with a 5-inch incision or a 6-inch incision along my fucking whole foot, like along the side of my whole foot. I don't even know it's that big yet, though. All I know is I wake up, my foot's wrapped up, my toes are all very swollen, purple and shiny already, right? Very swollen to the point where you can't move them at all. But she's telling me I'm going to be walking out of the hospital, blah, blah, blah. But when it's time to leave, and I wake up out of the surgery, I tell her, like, yo, my foot hurts bad, dude. Like, something's not right, I don't think. She said, stop being a baby, right? They put me in a wheelchair, wheel me out, send me back to the prison. When I get back to the prison, they put me in booking and leave me there for 6 hours. Dude, my foot started to hurt so bad. Like, I started getting so angry that I was smacking my crutches off the toilet. I broke the crutches. They took the crutches out of my cell, would never let me have them back again. This cell that he put me in was because I was in DDU. They didn't put me in the big tanks with everybody else. They put me in the solid, like the single ones down in Booking in the Max, in Shirley Max. And so I get in there, right? And there's a bench in there. It smells like feces because they use these cells for overflow suicide watch, right? So you got guys coming down there ripping out, throwing shit, fucking covering themselves in feces and peeing all over the place. They got me in this dirty, nasty cell with a brand new surgical incision in my foot. Not for nothing. I had nothing to put underneath it, no boot, nothing like that. It was just, my toes were open and I had a dressing around my foot. So I know my foot is not feeling the way they said it was going to be, relatively painless and all that bullshit. It hurts worse than I've ever had any pain in my life. I'm talking about blackout, seeing stars, like pain like you never heard before in your life. So come to find out, I'm going to fast forward through a little bit because you guys already know some parts of this story, right? From this video right here, right? The next part of this, you guys heard many, many times, right? So check this out. This video right here. Now, this woman, I contacted her. Her name is, wow. I'm having a fucking brain fart right now. Damn. But she works for PBS, right? So let me go over here because I actually can hear this. So let me play a couple. This isn't the whole video. I'm not playing you the whole video. This might be just a couple of seconds or a couple of minutes. I'm going to play you just the part where they came and visited me in my hotel room in Connecticut after I was released from my second bid and after I went through the story that I'm going to tell you next. But I'm going to tell you that story because that is the part you never heard before. This shit is so fucking crazy, right? Yeah, Lynn, I'm going to tell you how I didn't win. I'm going to tell you exactly how this all went down right after this part, right? Like this is the most tragic thing that happens every single day in every prison across America. And it is one of the hardest types of cases to beat. And no lawyers want to take your cases. Nobody wants to touch you because you're in prison, incarcerated, and you don't have any way to fucking pay them, right? Until you win on contingency. And when you win on contingency from behind the wall, they have a cap on the money that you can win from prison, which is not the same as if you're out on the streets. So nobody wants to take it with that low number cap. They're like, they could win real lawsuits on the streets for big money. You know what I mean? They don't want to fuck with these little cases because they're making big bucks. Now, not every personal injury lawyer is, but most of them are chasing that big bucks. They don't want to waste their time doing shit for little money, right? 80 grand, 60 grand, whatever they're going to make off it. So check this out.
He got another one he hadn't given consent to and was never told about for months until months
I mean,
later
real
when
quick,
he read
if
his
you
own
can hear
reports
this.
and realized.
If not, I'll stop playing
the medical record,
and then I'll just get to my story.
This is how the dressing was.
Tell me real quick if you guys can hear this. If not, I'm going to get to my story. Just right back to my story. Lynn, can you hear this? OG Jamaican, DT WAP, Billy, everybody who's here, man. Can you hear this shit? C. Perry, Dusty, Bats, Timbuktu, like all you guys. Yeah, you can hear it? Okay. So I'm going to play this little part for you real quick.
She didn't ask you for permission.
She didn't ask me, tell me, or anything. Nothing. Not even when I woke up, she told me I was being a baby. The way she explained it was going to be a little cut like this on the top of my joint that goes this way. Instead, I ended up with the cut like that long that went this way, all along, like my whole inside of my right foot. You could see there's lines like three of them, three like lines like that where the sutures ripped through and just went and just like opened right back up. You know, my foot got infected. It was splitting open.
And he also claims he begged and begged for care. He didn't get even basic courtesies like clean bandages when he went to the hospital and begged and asked for them. Found himself with an incredible infection in his foot that he couldn't get help with for months. And he said both the prison system and the doctor really didn't pay attention to him until he had to have another surgery to treat the infection.
It was like I was an animal. I honestly, animal would literally get treated better than I did. My foot hurts all the time. My whole body's twisted. I have herniated discs in my back, so now random parts of my leg go numb. I don't think I will ever be pain-free in my life again.
What do you think about the fact she's still there?
I think it's
So this right here, this is Dr. Katarina Armstrong, right? And the other person I was just telling you about, her name is Jennifer B. McKim. She is a investigative journalist who works for PBS. I saw her do an investigative journalist report on PBS through Channel 2 while I was sitting in my prison cell. And I said, you know what? She looks like a person that might be interested in something that's going on right here, right? So I wrote her from my prison cell while I was still pursuing my lawsuit in prison, and she went on a tear. She really found the dirtiest things. Like this woman, I turned up with my discovery over 21 cases of simply medical malpractice. That's not that doesn't include the constitutional cases, the Fed cases, all that shit, which easily covers 40 cases or more. And this woman is still working as a doctor. Imagine that. I'll let you listen to the rest of this. Hold on.
incredibly unethical. I think it's a travesty in medical care.
That's a
folks
lie.
Wrote a letter to the head of the Department of Public Health, CC'd the governor at the time. Did you feel like you were heard at all?
I don't think at all. There was really no action that shows that someone is taking our complaint seriously. And that's what makes you frustrated, and this is how you lose trust in the system.
I want to explain that Dr. Carrillo has never lost a case. The vast majority of these cases are won by doctors. And these medical malpractice lawsuits, I've read through these court records, and so
That's me working on my cases. And if you see all those books right there, right? Those are books that I studied inside and out on writing, on federal briefing and cases appeals, right? I've studied philosophy on law. I studied the law inside and out, and I trashed seasoned attorneys right on the floor. But I'll get to that in a minute.
many of them are begging for a pro bono attorney, begging for some state funding or federal funding for an expert. And that was Matthew Tottenham's case. He was filing his lawsuit from his prison cell. His case was dismissed in state court, and he is now filing an appeal.
This is just a motion to oppose. I'm just hoping
That's my certificates. Those right there are the certificates I earned while sitting in a prison cell as a paralegal and for civil litigation.
on some level she's held accountable. She just can't do this to people and just walk away scot-free, you know?
So that is the attorney. So Fixman and Connolly has this, hot shot attorney, John D. Cassidy, right? He's the one who took over for Connolly after when this case all started, because he was the hot shot. You know what I mean? He was that guy they make movie like TV shows about. He wins cases. It's his job. Fuck the law, fuck justice, and fuck what's right. That's his job. He said, so that was it. That's all I'm going to show you there, right? It's funny. He says that his client should be praised, not criticized, right? I just thought that was hilarious. Like, praised for exactly what? Let me tell you what she did, right? So I go in to have this surgery, and like I said, I came out with some crazy shit happening. My foot was exploding in pain. I had an incision that was 5 inches longer than they said it was going to be, because it was supposed to be 1 inch, 6 inches long, right? Or 5.5 inches long around, right? And I go in so when I come back to the prison after the surgery, I'm in medical for about a week. They're loading me up on painkillers. They're not even touching my pain. So I told them, like, look, I want to get out of the HSU. This isn't good for me. I want to be out of here. Now, up until this point, the doctors are telling me, like, this is all typical stuff that you're going through. But I could see the looks on their faces, and it's not truth. It is not the truth. It's not the reality. This is not typical shit. When they undid my dressings for the first time in the HSU and took it off, I looked at my foot. I was like, oh, I was shocked. My foot was misshapen, miscolored. It was like purple and red, shiny. It was 3 or 4 times the size of an actual real foot, right? Like, this was something you can read about. Now, what it turned out to really be is this thing called complex regional pain syndrome. It kicks in when you have sometimes surgery on your hand or a limb of some sort. It can happen from a nick like that. It's something they can't explain yet, right? But it happens from trauma. That's something out of the ordinary. It's not typical. It's very rare, but it happened to me, right? So I have now this thing called complex regional pain syndrome type 1 or 2, right? Now, this is causing my nails to grow in fast, my hair to grow in fast. It's causing my foot to swell up and be shiny purple. I cannot put hot or cold air, hot water or cold water, anything but room temperature, anything causes severe reaction to pain. It feels like shards of glass are being shredded through my foot. This is something I could never explain to you in words or verbalize how bad it was. It was such bad pain. I had never experienced anything like this. Nothing in my wildest dreams ever compared to it. It was legit torture. And I'm telling these people, like, oh, I'm in pain, man. They're telling me this is normal. You just had foot surgery, blah, blah, blah. Now, not for nothing, I'm looking at my foot thinking, this doesn't look anything like what she said. But I don't care about none of that. I'm just thinking about, I want to recover. I want to be better. I want to be back to working out. I don't want my foot to be hurting. They're on some shit like blaming me. Now, this right from the rip, it was like they were defensive. Oh, you have pain in your foot? Like, you must be causing this yourself somehow. Like, you attention-seeking convict. Like, oh, Maria Murphy, a nurse. Maria Murphy. Remember that name? Scumbag. Scum of the earth, bitch. Right? I'm showing her. She was the nurse in that DDU. I stuck my foot out the trap every single time she came around. Every single time, showing her my foot, like, look at my foot. Do you see this? This is not right. So anyways, I go back after 2 weeks, right? Hey, John, what's up, man? I didn't even notice you in there, bro. John, thank you, bro, for showing up and tapping in, man. I'd like you to stick around if you stick around, but, whatever. I get it, and I appreciate people have shit they got to do in their lives. So, do your thing. Come back, check out the rest later. Anyway, so, I go in, dude, right? For my follow-up, my 2-week follow-up. And I tell her, like, yo, this isn't right. I'm telling her what I'm going through. And they look at each other with like these crazy looking eyes and they leave the room, right? So I'm like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Like, I felt weird and I knew something was wrong. So I'm like, okay. They come back in the room and they're like, yo, check this out. You have reflex sympathetic dystrophy. Now, that was what they used to call complex regional pain syndrome. So I go back to the prison with what they did for this, right? Is they give me a boot and told me I could wear it whether I want to wear it or not, right? And all that good shit. Now, this is all stuff I've told you guys before. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tell you a little bit of what happened up there, but I'm gonna get to what happened when I got out of there, right? This is the good shit. And it coincides with the whole Yo, I don't know, man. Can you guys see me and hear me? I don't know what the fuck is going on with this shit, man. It's like a fucking government experiment, dude. You guys can see me and hear me? Yeah, I'm live. I'll talk to you in a minute, all right? Okay, I'm back, guys. My bad. My bad. I don't know what the fuck happened, bro. Some government fucking dude, they shut me down. Anyways, so man, bro, like, can I just get some good shit happen for me in my life, dude? Like, what the fuck, man? Like, I'm in the middle of telling this fucking crazy story and fucking Wi-Fi goes out. Like, when does that happen, bro? Me make sure nobody looked out for me and I'm not shouting them out. Oh, no, doesn't look like they did. So, anyways, guys, I get I forget exactly where I was at. So I get Oh yeah. So I go through the SDP. I'm putting in slips, I'm putting in fucking grievances, and I get sent back that day with no dressing, no nothing, right? They take it all off and send me back. Somehow they think that that's going to help me, right? I get back and I go through my whole DDU bid without, basically I had to get rushed in for emergency surgery after 3 months of going through that. They rushed me back in. I had to call an attorney to have this happen. Shout out to Maggie Filler. She was a good person. That struggle that I went through in solitary confinement alone, going through all that pain while my foot started getting infected, right? Now it started splitting open like bad. It turned green, it turned purple, and it turned black. It was rotting my flesh. And when I got sent back for the emergency surgery, they held me in the 8 North wing at the Shattuck, right? I have footage of that place. I'll actually make some reels and shorts for you guys tonight out of the footage from that place. Like the Shattuck, I sat out in front and told the whole story before. But so anyways, I go back in and they took all my shit, sent me back. They kept on going, send me back every 2 weeks, and then they would send me back with nothing. They took all my pain medication away for no reason. There was nothing, no reason to take it away. I wasn't doing nothing bad with it. I did not abuse it. None of that shit, right? Yo, I appreciate you, Bobby, man. But yo, so I fucking really start studying the law. I start learning how to fight this battle on a different playing field, because violence and fighting the move team's just not going to cut it on this. Like, I need real help, right? So I got the rush back in for the surgery. I get the surgery. Now they put stitches in it, and my stitches rip right through the rotten flesh, right? I spent up on that 8 North Wing, I spent like 30 days. While I was there, Dr. Carrillo, instead of using that time to help me and try to make up for the lack of any type of care she would give me, she refused to do anything. She would not even wipe my wound to clean it. She didn't touch my foot. She did not help me or comfort me in any single little type of way. And her little surgical assistant, who got off on everything, Andrea Tortolano, that's her name, Andrea Tortolano, scumbag, another one. She was a co-conspirator in all this. Whether she acted like it then or not, she was just as guilty as Dr. Carrillo. So I end up getting that surgery. I'm up there. She used that time to figure out a way to shift the blame. So what she did was she kept on writing fake reports saying that I was witnessed tampering with my dressings, right? She was saying that I had kept on touching my wound and blah, blah, blah. But just so happens that ever since they start treating my wound, right, that it starts getting better from that point forward, never worse. So somehow me touching it didn't do anything bad to it though, right? Just got better from that point forward. I never touched my dressing. I never touched my wound in a way to hurt myself, ever. But she said that she came into my room. Now, this is a straight up lie, straight up fallacy, and this is a doctor. And this is my word on my dead brother's soul, on my mother's life. May she die tomorrow if I'm lying. She said she came into the room and I had blood on my fingers and my dressings were tampered with, like I had been picking. But wouldn't you say that if that was the real situation, you would be like, oh shit, like there'd be something wrong with my wound. You'd want to take a look at it, take pictures of it or something to make sure like you had that evidence or something. Like nothing was wrong with my wound. Nothing had happened to it. Where'd the blood come from on my fingers if my wound was fine? Like this was a total lie. She never, ever, ever saw me playing with it because I never played with it. The only thing I ever did to my dressing was they made me wear flip-flops on that unit. So when I'd wear the flip-flops, I'd put my foot into the thing so I could take a shower. You know what I mean? And it would push the dressing back a little bit and it would expose just the very end of my cut. So I would pull the dressing back up over it. You know what I mean? So it wouldn't be exposed. That was it. Other than that, I never messed with my wound, never touched it, none of that, right? So I end up, I end up going back to my facility after 30 days. I had no idea she was writing these reports, trying to make it look like I was causing this to myself, right? Not just that, but on top of that, I had requested to come off of the Percocet and just get my Neurontin raised, which they did. They did it, right? But instead of saying like, yeah, he wasn't pill seeking and he actually wanted to get off the narcotic and on something else, she wrote reports saying that I got mad that I couldn't get more painkillers, that I was seeking painkillers. And this whole thing is somehow some like twisted way to get more painkillers, right? Dude, I didn't know none of this was happening, but I had requested when I was there, Maggie Filler came and took pictures of my wound. And in that video, that they made with PBS, you could see all those pictures, but I still have all those pictures, right? Colored photos of my wound looking like a freaking nasty vagina, right? So I had the real evidence. You know what I mean? I had stacked up the real shit, dude. Dude, this lady spent so much time lying. Like, she could have been trying to help me. I would have never sued her. I would have never brought this to court. All I wanted was my foot to be better. I was not looking to build a case. I was not doing none of that at the time. I was just covering my bases in case I had to. Turns out I did have to, right? So I go in. I go back to my facility. I had requested my medical records. So 2 weeks after I get back there and I'm still in the HSU, I was off of all painkillers upon my request, right? I get back and I get my reports. I combed through them. I read every single page, in and out, back and front, top to bottom, every word. I was so sick to my stomach. They literally tried to make it sound like I caused this to myself. Not for nothing, I had nurses in the HSU straight belittling me. Like, ha, that's what you get, you fucking scumbag, for fucking with your wound. You should have never messed with your wound. I had the deputy superintendent come to my door knowing damn well that that was a bullshit lie, try to tell me, oh, well, you know, you've been doing the right thing, Maddie. You know what we're going to do? We're going to get you a TV down here, right? We're going to get you your tablet and all this other stuff. Not for nothing, the cops already brought me my tablet. They fucking respect me and like me, dude, right? All them cops did, dude. I was not a dickhead at that point. Like, I was fucking a good dude. I was respected. I was a convict and they knew it, dude. Like, the cops respect real convicts, right? And, you know, especially ones like I had, you know, some sort of sway in there. Like, they knew that, you know what I mean? They respected me. But, so I had my tablet. I was already getting my canteen, right? And I was already getting bags of coffee from my people, sending it up through them. And they would bring it to me, right? So I didn't need that shit. But this dude, right, fucking lied. Never brought me a TV, not for nothing. But he says all this only to say, but I need you to do something for me, though. He's like, I'm going to need you to stop messing with that wound. I looked at him. I said, yo, bro, I never once in my fucking life, and this is before I got my paperwork and before I got my shit. And that's why when I got it, I combed through it because I'm like, what the fuck is this dude talking about? I was livid. This dude blamed me before I even knew they were trying to blame me for fucking with my shit to make myself in this condition. I was sick. I had never been so humiliated in my life. And that was what burned that fire inside me to go after them with every ounce of my energy, mental capacity, and physical energy. I could not stop if I wanted to. I hated them. They made me hate them, right? They lied and they all co-conspired on it, dude. Like, legit. They knew damn well I didn't cause that upon myself. This dude tried to get me to say something to him along the lines of like, oh, okay, man, like, I'll do that so that I can get the TV. I said, bro, fuck you. Keep your fucking TV. I never fucking touched my wound a day in my fucking life, right? Peace. Like, you ain't fucking with me, bro. Go fuck yourself, and I'll see you in court, dude. Like, peace. Get the fuck away from me. Yo, from that point forward, made it my mission to rock their world, bro. And I did so just like that, dude, right? They did this to so many people, Wolfie, bro. Trust me, trust and believe. Like I said, she had over 40 cases against her up to this date. She had over 21 medical malpractice cases alone, which is the hardest type of case to prosecute as a convict. Think about what it would take for someone to file one of them against her from prison, knowing damn well you're not going to fucking get any help on it, right? That takes a lot, right? So anyways, right, I end up filing this case. I go to my medical malpractice tribunal, like I said, alone. I blew the doctor, the judge, and the medical malpractice attorney, their jaws were on the floor. The defense attorney, the personal injury attorney that was fighting the case with Dr. Carrillo was straight up blown away. She didn't even know what to say when I was done. I didn't even know she was there. I was so focused, I laid it out. Boom, 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 boom. Evidence, evidence, evidence. Didn't even know I had that shit like that, dude, right? I smacked him so hard that I was one of the only people in the history of Massachusetts ever to win a medical malpractice case without an expert, attorney, or anything. Nothing but me. They told me when I got up there and started, before I even started speaking at my medical malpractice tribunal, they said, it's literally impossible for you to win this, but we'll hear your case. It won't affect your constitutional claims, blah, blah, blah. Right? I said, okay. Boom, and laid it on him, right? I knew I was going to win. I didn't just think it, I knew it, right? And I know, just like I know then that I was going to win, I know now I am going to win. DJ Vlad, none of these dudes are going to be above me. At the end of the day, I am going to fucking win. I am going to have more subscribers or more viewers and people who fuck with me, because you want to know why I'm real, dude. I don't fuck around, dude. I don't fucking bullshit. I'm real. I'm myself all the way around, all day, every day. Don't change for anything or anybody, right? And all I have inside me is passion, right? That's it. So I end up fighting this case. So I end up getting sent downstairs after my DDU sentence. Now I'm downstairs. My foot is fucked up still. I still have a big scar. I'm fucking, who's DJ Vlad? Bats, bro. Stop it, bro. Go look on YouTube. Type in DJ Vlad. I'm not gonna explain that. He's the biggest fucking YouTuber there is, probably. Yeah, Vlad TV. But so he interviews. He just did that interview with Tekashi 6ix9ine. And by the way, I would never click on anything with Tekashi 6ix9ine. Why he has, I don't care if it has the most intriguing title ever, dude. Why not support a real dude, bro, like me or something? Fuck, dude. What does a real dude got to do to get some love in this fucking world, bro? Do I have to sell out and be totally fake to get views? No, I'm not going to do that. If that's the case, I don't care. I'll lose on that one, but I'll still win because I know I didn't sell out. Anyways, right? I'm not paying for guests. I'm not paying for views. I'm not doing it, dude. No matter how you look at it. It's going to be real. When I win, it's going to be because I did it myself the right way. But so I end up pursuing this shit, right? I win the tribunal. I get it back, dude, right? I'm fighting now inside the joint. I'm putting in 6 slips in medical grievances to win sneakers, right? I want street sneakers because my feet are so fucked up that the prison shoes that they sell in the prison canteen are just not cutting it for me, right? So I made them allow me to buy my own pair of 2017 Air Maxes and deliver it to me on the block. Guy, that was the best feeling when I had that happen that day and I won and I got them 2017 fucking Air Maxes, all black, dude, fucking black and silver with the silver check. Those were fire. Now I'm talking about, this was 2017. It just turned 2017. I got these things fresh off the market, dude. They just came out. So I got a pair of 2017s and I was rocking them in the fucking joint, kid. Yeah, dude, word, fresh out the box, kid. New shoe smell and everything, right? So I get all that. Sneaker order, they fight me on it, though. That was the only pair they ever legally allowed me to get. The next pair I ordered in was a pair of fucking Vapor Max Flyknit 2s. When they got to the place, they said, oh, hell no, we're not giving you those. We're not giving you those because they're a security risk. I would be in danger if I had them on my feet. I said, motherfucker, I pity the fool who tries to take these sneakers from me. Not a single soul would ever do that. Not for nothing. No one tries to take solid dudes' sneakers off their feet, dude. It just doesn't happen like that in the Max. That's not how it goes down. I had them sneakers and motherfuckers respect that. You know what I mean? They want me to have them. You know what I mean? And plus I could sell them for fucking $500 a pair, but I wasn't even really on that shit. I wanted these sneakers simply because I needed them. And they owed me the way I saw it. You know what I mean? They owed me to treat me like a human being. So I pursued this case all the way through. They made it so I couldn't get any more sneakers, but I ended up getting those Vapor Maxes. I'm going to tell you how, right? So I order them through. But for the first time in 2018 ever, right? I had been fighting for those pair of sneakers for more than a year at that point. And then I started fighting because I had medium points for 3 class boards in a row, and they kept on keeping me in the max. So I said, you know what? Give me a grievance, and I'm taking that to court too. I was already in court. I had, state court claims for the medical malpractice and the constitutional claims against me for my foot. I had filed all those lawsuits myself and was pursuing them myself, right? And they were not honoring what they were supposed to do. And so I had won the grievances for my sneakers. I had won all that shit. And then they went back and reneged, right? And wouldn't give me the other pair of sneakers because they were too expensive. They were the same exact price as the 2017s. Same price, same type of sneaker and all that. But it was Phelps now was this deputy superintendent. He went from being my block officer to an IP to the head IP to the deputy superintendent. Motherfucker's working his way up the ladder, right? Treating everybody in the way like a rung. So he denied the sneakers coming through. Now, they were literally supposed to get delivered to me on a Friday night, and that night is when I got told, like, yo, we can't give them to property. Said, like, yo, someone came down there and nixed it. So what? How the fuck can they do that? Like, I literally got a medical order from a doctor. Like, you can't stop that. They did. They don't give a shit, right? So I ended up going through that. So I ended up getting sent to the medium. But when I was in booking, there was a dude down there that, he was a sneakerhead, right? I'm not going to put him out there because he got these sneakers for me, right? So I'm like, yo, dude, them sneakers are mine, man. Like, he had been seeing them in there for a minute. He's like, man, I was going to try them on. He's like, them things are nice, right? So I'm like, bro, put those in my property so I can get them when I get to the medium. He's like, I got you. He's like, if they're in there, I got you. So he goes back there, looks. He's like, they're not in there. I said, you want to know what they did? Because I was trying to pay the property worker to get them to bring them to me, right? So there was convicts that worked in property. I knew him. This kid Conroy, I'm like, yo, grab him out of there. I'll give you $100. You know what I mean? And that was his hustle. So he was gonna grab him, but he's like, yo, soon as I was telling him about him, all of a sudden they move him to fucking the mail room in the front of the prison, so no convict could get next to him, right? And I'm like, wow, very fishy. Just gonna say that, real fishy. You got the best job in the joint, I tell you, and all of a sudden my sneakers are up there. Funny money, right, Conroy? So he got knocked out by Boo Boo and Double A too. That was the dude who got jumped by Boo Boo and Double A when they were in the OU block together, and fucking Double A ran in and booted the kid in the head when Boo Boo started fucking him up. So they both got lugged for that fight. They jumped the kid together. So that was Aaron Hernandez and Jason Knowles. They both got lugged together. So anyways, right, I get sent to the medium. Boom. This dude really went through the mailroom, grabbed my sneakers, and put them in my property for me. But he left the contraband slip inside the sneaker. So when they got down to the medium, my boy was working in property. So right when I got down there, I said, yo, I'm supposed to get my sneakers in my property. I don't know if they're going to be in there or not. This CO said he was going to put them in there, but I don't know if he's going to go through with it or not, if he's going to keep true to his word or not. He really did. Brought him right from the mailroom through the prison into my property, dude, right? So, but he said that right when they got there, they had the contraband slip inside the fucking sneaker. So the CO that worked in property with him had taken him and put him to the side. When he put him to the side, my boy grabbed them and hid them and took the contraband slip and threw it away. But the guy was like looking for him, didn't know where they went. He's like, where did these sneakers go? These are one of a kind inside of there, dude. Like brand new out of the box Vapor Max Flyknit 2s. These things are nasty, bro. And they had the fresh air pack. So it was like, if you look them up online, the fresh air pack, the bubble's nasty, bro. Right. So they were looking for him, but he sent them to me in my property, but I had them off the books, but still I had them and they didn't take them from me down there. I even got lugged when I beat up Driscoll. I smashed Driscoll out, bro, and end up in the box. They actually had a little bit of blood on them, but I scrubbed it off. And you know what I mean? Like before they see me, I scrubbed it all off. Like, yeah, I got him. I got through. I was in the hole with them. I went to DDU with them. I made it through 3 different joints with them. So by the time I made it back to the max, they're actually on my books. So like technically, but they weren't like legit on my books. They were just on my books because I entered the prison with them. You know what I mean? But when I got back to the max, they had this dude working there, bro. His name was now this dude, class act, bitch, got knocked out by my friend. Damn. What the fuck is his name, kid? The property cop who ruined the max. Everybody's got to know this dude's name. My boy D fucking knocked him out, bro. Wow. I can't even remember this asshole's name. But he's an asshole, bitch, motherfucker. Like literally biggest coward I ever met in my life. Fucking trashed the max, dude. Totally disrespected every single person he could possibly disrespect. Treated every human being, even his other fellow cops, like fucking maggots because he's a maggot and probably had like a tiny penis and hated himself. And so that's what happens, you know? They hate themselves, but whatever, you know? So, I make it out of there, dude. I sold those kicks for $500 before they could ever get them from me, right? That was satisfying. This dude tried to take my I had a ring. I had several rings, but I gave one to my brother and I kept one and I sold one. And I had one that I kept, you know what I mean? Because I loved it. It had shamrocks all around it. It was silver and black. This shit was badass. But when I came back from medical one time, bro, he's like, where's your ring at? I looked on your books. You're not married. Because I had been saying I'm married, like, and they just kind of took my word for it. But when I came back that time, dude went out of his way, looked into it, and it's all because I'm suing them. Like, they went out of their way to fuck me, I'm suing them, right? So, he tried to get it from me. I said, get the fucking move, team, you bitch. You ain't getting shit. And I took the ring and I flushed it down the toilet. I said, matter of fact, grab a snorkel, kid. You want the ring, you're gonna have to go get it, dude. Yeah, I wouldn't give him it. But he was pissed. He couldn't get the ring. He thought that I got over on him, which is even better because good. I want you to think I got over on you. I want you to think I got that ring into the joint, but I didn't. I flushed it down the toilet for real. But I go up, and when I got out of STP that time, right, that stretch, I went back again for another fight a couple times, matter of fact. My foot never was right. When I got out on the streets, bro, I fucking I pursued my case. As you see, they came and visited me in the hospital. They were, in my hotel room in Connecticut. They came and visited me down there. So I had pursued this all the way out into the streets, and I was not giving it up, bro, right? But they dismissed my case out of court, and appealing it from the streets was very difficult for me. What they wanted you to do through appeals, in the fact that no attorney would touch a state case against the state for state doctors and shit. Like, it was maddening. I had no help. And so what ends up happening is I end up losing a slam dunk case because I had a judge who took precedence over my case on a state case, which is so unheard of. Right? Come to find out that his best friend taught Dr. Carrillo's daughter, piano lessons. This is how I lost my case. This is the rigged part of it. Not one case against this woman gets heard or won. Like, she is a vicious monster. Bro, if you look into it, man, my friend, he had his knee destroyed. Like, they left pieces of drill bits in there, and she lied and told him, like, oh, we're going to have to go in and do another knee replacement. Really, all she wanted to do was go in and take those screws out. But what she did to me was she went in and took my pin out of my foot. I didn't even know it was in there. So after, when I got all these x-rays back and I found out I actually had a pin in my foot that they never told me about, which was the actual cause of the infection. I had osteomyelitis, which is a bone infection. I had MRSA of my surgical incision, right? I had reflex sympathetic dystrophy, which is complex regional pain syndrome. I got no treatment. I got treated like a fucking animal, rushed in for emergency surgery, and then blamed on me, right? Imagine going through this, right? That is just one part. And getting the sneakers was small compensation, dude. That is nothing. I could go buy whatever sneakers I want today, right? And I have to buy good sneakers today. I have to spend more money on sneakers today because my feet are fucked up. Like, my body got twisted over this shit. I lost trust in the medical care system. Like, but through it all, coming home and fighting these cases was the most difficult thing for me to give it up because I did not know how to appeal things like that. Like, yeah, I read books on it. I did it all. It sounds really good. But at the end of the day, like, to go at a medical malpractice appeal, you really need experience. You need a degree. Like, you need a lawyer. You need someone the judge isn't just going to wash off without any justification at all, without any fear of reprisal, because they know you're an ex-convict or a convict with no resources. They could dismiss you out of court totally unjustly and make up anything, knowing you could win the appeal if you get there, but you're going to have to get there. And I didn't get there. I lost that because I gave up. I will never give up again. Never give up again like that. But, you know, that's really the outcome and what happened. And I just recently have been thinking about it a lot because of what has been going on in my life, like the medical shit, going to the hospital, being treated like that, and just automatically just writing it off to being like, I am in a certain cutout of people that get treated like shit, no matter what, dude. Like, I don't fit in with the rest of society. And I feel so like apart from them. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like separated from, like, I'm not the right type of white. I'm saying it, you know, I heard in a Blood for Blood song, and it's so true. I am not the right type of white. I don't get treated like a white person. I get treated like every other minority on the planet because I didn't come from what they came from. I didn't go to college. I didn't grow up with a silver spoon in my mouth. I don't talk like nasally with a fucking education and a degree. Like, that is not me, bro. I am just who I am. I'm a real human being with real feelings and real fucking needs and wants. And I just get treated like shit, dude. And it makes me automatically associated with these experiences I went through. I cannot trust people or doctors because I've experienced that I can't, you know, but it's not the case. You know, a lot of people are just trying the best they can and want to help you. But if they give me the same vibes as these people, like, it just, I automatically just stop trusting them right away. And it's like hard to work with a doctor, anybody you don't trust, you know? But, yeah, man, what's going on, guys? Dude, I know I've been talking for a little while now. How's everybody doing, man? Sorry about the interruptions with the Wi-Fi and shit. That's not me. Appreciate you, Wolf, man. Let me go get this thing so I can put your comments up. I know I've been falling off a little bit lately with the amount and volume of podcasts I've been putting out, and that's totally on me. It was just about a couple of things, and I'll tell you right now, certain things to do with my addiction. So I was smoking weed heavy, right? I was doing it to self-medicate, going through some mental stuff, you know, relationship stuff. And let's face it, right? I went into the system at 13 years old. The person you see before you has experienced things that not many people in this life do. You know, very small percentage of us, but there are people that do. And I'm not alone, just like you are, right? But at the end of the day, I feel like as a human being, we didn't get the same opportunities, experiences, and, you know, as other people. And it just bothers me. You know, it bothers me a lot. But I've been smoking. I started smoking a lot of weed, trying to make up for this feeling I was having, like self-medicating, especially when I'm editing. It was really good for me to focus while I was editing. And I was just getting into it a lot. You know, typical addiction where I relied on something other than God to heal that hole inside of me, and it filled it with smoke. That's all it filled it with. And my mind started slipping a little bit. I wasn't the same. I didn't have the same motivation. I didn't have the same like my intellect kind of slipped. Like I was losing my memory of things. I just wasn't the same. And I could see myself changing, like even through my podcast, the way I speak, the way I present. And I don't want that. I want my podcast to stay solid. I want it to stay hitting hard, hitting heavy all the time. And I quit. I quit smoking weed. And I'm planning some fire shit, like going out to New York in the next couple weeks, meeting up with DVS, and we're gonna do something out there in Hell's Kitchen with the Westies, some people that were in the Westies and shit like that. We're reconnecting with them, and we're gonna tell some of those stories, and you know, just go out there. And a Boston guy going out to New York to see what kind of shit he could stir up. I'm going out to the Ave with that kid that did the South Carolina time, and we're gonna show the type of life he lived out there on the streets, man. Like real type shit. You know what I mean? Like not like the Methadone Mile, Tommy G. We're not gonna go into the trap houses and do all. We're gonna see the real shit, dude. Right out there on the streets. We're gonna hit these other organizations who are helping people out there on the streets. And not for nothing, but I wanted to bring this up too, is the Shatterproof Walk. Me and my boy Billy, we went on this mission and we went on this walk for Shatterproof. He was awarded like this. It was something amazing to me. He's put in so much work for himself and for this cause and for his addiction and for other people in recovery. He's running 2 or 3 different groups, and trying to be a creator on my podcast. And just, we're going out tomorrow to the Cape to do my story, right? So you guys are going to be getting my story from my mother, from my father, from the people I grew up with, the places I grew up at. We're going to even go to fucking Holland Detention Center. We're going to go to the Brockton Y. We're going to hit these places I grew up going to and the places that affected me and shit. So I think that's going to be a really great experience, not only for you guys to be able to see what I went through like firsthand and hear it from the people that, not just from me, but from the people who were in my life and could tell you firsthand how it was growing up around me and growing up with me and just watching the mess unfold. And I've been locked up. I from 13, I went on a run after 3 years and some change being locked up in DYS. I got out and I never looked back. I ran. I was on the run for about 18 months, got locked back up when I was just turning 19, and you know, went back to prison for, I did 5 years, 9 months from that point, and then I did 11 years and some change in the next one. You know, it's just a long life, and I ended up walking out those doors at 36 as a man with very little experience out here on the streets. And it's not, I've come to realize, talking to my friends that have done massive amounts of time with me, all in the max with me, they're all suffering from the same fucking things I'm suffering from. We're all going through the same things I'm going through. It blows my mind, dude. Just really does. It blows my mind how we could all get out here and be in the same place and like all be going through these same things, and we all think we're alone, but yet we are all going through the same shit. Nobody knows it. The beauty of social media is that we can connect now. You can see I'm going through it with you, dude. Like, reach out to me, tell your story, because it can help so many fucking people. Like I said, man, this dude I talked to in the military yesterday, did his interview the other day. I'm editing it now. Just an amazing interview, amazing dude. But I got so many good ones, bro. Like my friend Big Chops, who's in the chat. Dude, this guy, he's from New York. He's done mad time, fuck with the cartel and just all these good crazy stories. I got people from Worcester. I got people from Lynn. I got people from all over right now reaching out. So I'm about to lay down the fucking smackdown on these fucking interviews, dude. Really get out some great stories. But I also have dredged up the stories. I forgot to bring my notebook today. So I can't, and for some reason, I'm just, I had a brain fart, but I think that's God. I think that's God needed me to tell this story and talk about this shit today. It is what it is. Like, I needed to tell people I lost this case. I did not win. It's because I gave up on myself. I gave up on this case. I didn't think I had what it took, but I did, I do. And the same way I'm talking to you now, like I gave up. I'm going to win. I know I'm going to win. I am never going to quit. Never going to quit. Not just for myself, but for you, for every other dude and motherfucker just like me going through this shit, bro. I can't let myself give up on you guys ever. Never. Not on myself, not on you. Yeah, cases bullshit, bro. Thank you, man. All you guys support me, man, today, man. Thank you. Hit that like button. Back, bro. Jesus is a powerful name too. If you could bring yourself to just get on your knees once or twice, I promise you, God is listening to this right now, giving me these words, telling me to tell you to pray today, and your life will change. Give it up to God right now, and your life will change. All the things you're suffering from are not going to go away, but you will have something steel and iron with you at all times to help you get through that. You will never be alone again, dude. Not inside, not outside. Ever. As long as you can get on your knees and talk to God. That's it. You could walk and talk to him. You get on your knees today and surrender. Your life is going to change today. I promise you that. But yeah. It's been a crazy journey, man. It's been a crazy journey recently. It's been a crazy journey from the time I got out until now. From the time I went in at 13 until now. I had the stories. I have the experience. And like my boy called me the other day, a credible messenger. We could bring these stories to these kids, man, and change their fucking lives, bro. Like, I had nobody like myself when I was young like that. Nobody. Like, nobody taught me what my priorities should be. You know what I mean? Nothing stronger than the program, man. Respect, brother. Thank you. Thank you, Loso. What's up, Razor? How you doing, bro? You already know, man. Big ups to all you guys, man. Hit that like button. Hit the share button. Send this out to everybody, man. It's good just to sit here and hang out, bro. I'm not going anywhere for a couple of minutes, dude. Like, I want to chill with you guys today. Actually, I am. It's almost time. I can't believe I've been going for this long. Hold on, dude. Wow. How the fuck? How long has this been? Wow. 2 hours, kid. I've been rocking for 2 hours, dude. Yeah. It's good. It's good. I like it, bro. Time flew by today. You want to know why? Because I'm feeling it again. I stopped the weed. I stopped smoking cigarettes. It's been 8 days, dude. I stopped smoking cigarettes. That's God. I stopped, but I am doing the little vape thing. I every time I have like a really bad craving, like I do right now, to smoke a cigarette, I hit the vape. I'll take a big old blast, but I won't hit it for a long time after that until I have another big craving, because the vapes could be just as addicting. And I don't want to get addicted to something else just to get rid of the cigarettes. I'm just trying to quit the cigarettes and the nicotine. Sometimes you need something just to like get through. Like, sometimes you do. And if you need medication, you need medication. If you need to be on methadone, you need to be on methadone. If you need Suboxone, you need to be on Suboxone. And not to get in something too is that when you're in prison and you go in there and you get addicted to opiates, you are now an addict. You are now a junkie. You're now addicted. Don't think like you just did that in prison and you're getting out and you're good. No, you're going to get out and you can continue to do those opiates. And I know that's a fact if you've already done it. don't go in there and start getting high and thinking you're just going to do this to get through your bit. You're going to be an addict at the end of the day. Fact. You need Viagra. Why, bro? Well, I mean, I guess not why. It's an obvious question, but you know, I think a lot of that comes down to is opiates fuck up your testosterone. Opiates will fuck up your ability to, you know, get off. And methadone's a big fucking part of that. Like the whole reason why a lot of people, a lot of men in this generation are low testosterone and like high estrogen levels, fucking acting like bitches, is because they're all fucked up on opiates, and that will crush your testosterone levels after you use it for a long time, dude. Like even a short time, like your testosterone is not going to be the same after opiates, man. Opiates will ruin you if you continue to do them. Once you stop, everything will replenish. But if you're having problems with testosterone, there's a way to go about that. You know what I mean? You can contact me. We can, you know, they have what it's called is there's a doctor. It's called I forget the name of it. If anybody in the chat knows it, tell me. It's a doctor that treats your hormone levels. Like, damn, man, I forget the name of it, bro. I don't know why I'm having such a brain fart today, but I'm having some brain farts. It is what it is. Every day is different for me now. You know, today I'm just having brain farts. It is what it is. But I will be up here every single time. It doesn't matter if rain, sleet, or snow, happy, depressed, mad, sad, whatever. I'm gonna be up here kicking real shit to you. Fact. Like, I don't ever want to fucking sit back in my bunk and be like, I can't do this today, dude. I can't because I don't feel right. But I've done that recently when I was sick. That sickness fucked me up, bro. It like made me depressed on a whole nother level, dude. Right? Yo, Kenny, I hope you're not gonna be in here saying stupid shit, bro. Dr. Dre. Like, what does that mean, dude? What the fuck you talking about? A beer for me after a long day taking care of animals and everything else. Yeah, bro. You know, if you're the thing is like if you can drink and it's not a problem for you, don't let anybody tell you can't, right? Like don't let yourself convince you can if you can't, though. You know what I mean? Like for me, if I have a beer right now, I could drink half of it and not drink again for 7 months. Like beer is not an issue. If I do a bag of dope, it's a whole nother situation. I don't know what's going to happen. If I do some crack, oh shit, it's on. Like Donkey Kong, it won't be stopping till I'm gone. That's a fact. The next one's death or life. That's it. Death or life in prison. I can't do that to myself or anybody in my family. I have a child on the way. And that's another thing. I have a blessing that I've been so traumatized by prison and conditioned to think that I am not worth anything good. So I'll sabotage my own life to recertify that belief in myself that I am not worth anything good. But I am, dude. And through prayer and God and, you know, my friends that support me and everybody who watches my channel, all you guys who leave good comments like, yo, I'm inspiring you, being, you know, man, like that right there will keep me from ever using again, dude. Like I don't have cravings the same way I used to. Like my craving now is more like it's in the back of my head. I recognize it's there. I accept it, but it just doesn't affect me. You know what I mean? We will all feel that way at times. You are not alone. I already know that, Lynn. You've been a great supporter too, and I really appreciate everything that you guys do for me, man. I do want to cut this off so I can go make some reels and shit like that. Get this out to Instagram so you guys can go share those reels and get this live promoted out there. But before I do anything else, I'm going to read you something else because it's super important that we give this up to God. It is very important whether you believe so or not. And this is for all you people who have been struggling with your faith, who have been struggling with your life, struggling with yourself and your own mental health, right? Check this out. It says, but you, my dear friends, must remember what the apostles of our Lord Jesus Christ predicted, They told you that in the last times there would be scoffers whose purpose in life is to satisfy their ungodly desires. Those people, these people, are the ones who are creating divisions among you. They follow their natural instincts because they do not have God's spirit in them. But you, dear friends, must build each other up in your most holy faith. Pray in the power of the Holy Spirit and await the mercy of our Lord Jesus Christ, who will bring you eternal life. In this way, you will keep yourself safe in God's love. And you must show mercy to those whose faith is wavering. Rescue others by snatching them from the flames of judgment. Show mercy to others, but do so with great caution, hating the sins that contaminate their lives. Be careful with that, because you know what? Friedrich Nietzsche, someone who doesn't believe in God, but also just believes in the natural power of the human self, said that if you stare too long into the abyss will stare right back into you. And you don't want that to happen, right? That's what happens when you go into the whole segregation for many years at a time. You stare into that abyss, and that abyss opens right up in your mind, right? And you don't want that. That's depression, that's anxiety, that's fear for the future coming in. You don't want that. You want God and his light in your life. Now, all glory to God, who is able to keep you from falling away and will bring you with great joy into his glorious presence without a single fault. All glory to him who alone is God, our Savior, through Jesus Christ our Lord. All glory, majesty, power, and authority is his before all time and in the present and beyond all time. Amen. Word. Can't get any more factual than that. And if you don't believe in God, at least you could believe in the wisdom that comes from his words, bro. But man, like I said, hit that like button, become a member to this channel, bro. Please try to support this channel. The ad revenue is shit. I do have things looking up. My friend Dusty. So I have an attorney. I don't know if he's going to be coming on, but hopefully I'm going to promote him and he's going to help me. So we're going to do some things soon with some promotions and, you know, sponsors, but it's coming, man. But to keep this thing moving in a great direction, I do need support. I want to buy better cameras. I want to buy better mics. And I want money to travel so I could go document things in other places, meet convicts from all across the country face to face without being remote. Like, have that ability to do that. Imagine the things we could do with this podcast. Imagine the people we can meet. And I've reached out to that dude, Louis Ziskin, who was on Vlad TV recently. He was the biggest ecstasy dealer in the country. I want him on this podcast. So if you're listening and you find me, Louis, you know God is amazing and he can make that happen. So let's see what happens. You know what I mean? Before you guys leave, hit that like button. And again, man, I appreciate all you guys showing up today, man. It's straight fire that you guys are alive and are well and listening and able to be here today, free from fucking solitary confinement, free from the abuse of cops, free from the abuse of terrible medical personnel, people that don't give a shit if you live or die. We are here for each other, dude. We gotta be here for each other. And the only way we make this happen is through loyalty and love. That's it. Honor, integrity, things that we have inside of us instilled as little kids, because we are the strong, we are the loyal, we are the honorable. Those who sit and preside above us, judges, DAs, they are not honorable, dude. Who the fuck decided to call them the honorable? I have no idea, but I can tell you this: anybody who could send a child to a prison cell has no honor. Anybody who puts their job above the well-being of another human being is without honor, period. But with that said, man, I love all you guys. Word. And I mean that. I care for all you guys, even if you don't care for me, period. I'm not that guy anymore. I'm not that heartless man that used to fucking smash your teeth down your throat for looking at me stupid just so I could get that acceptance and respect from people who have no acceptance and respect for anybody but themselves. So much respect and much real love to all you. W number. Ow.